guys. Popular culture used to be centered around the arts and was a way for communities to experience a sort of shared transcendence. Works of art and music, theater, and literature used to manifest the human struggle and the human experience. They would captivate the viewer and make them feel whole, feel understood, feel like they were part of the larger tapestry of humanity, or in the most successful cases, feel like they're part of the divine. The horrors of humanity and the potential evil of man are threads seen in some of the most influential and beautiful pieces of art, music, literature, and theater throughout history. The bleakness of existence used to motivate people to strive to connect to something better, something eternal. This was a tremendous impetus for so much of the world's art, as was religion, particularly Christianity, which uniquely endows man with divinity. The world is safer and freer now than it ever has been. War deaths have drastically decreased since the end of World War II. The share of the world's population living in poverty has plummeted since 1820. Infectious diseases are killing just a fraction of those that they used to. And the world has never been more democratic than it is today. We have never had such a high quality of life or the ability to exercise so many freedoms. So why, with all of these comforts and opportunities, have we witnessed an unparalleled era of popular culture in terms of cynicism and nihilism? In art, literature, and music, there was a profound shift in tone in the mid-20th century. Although some of the cultural cynicism can be attributed to the extraordinarily bloody century, the real culprit is postmodernism and its wide-scale, subconscious push towards the adoption of nihilism as a permanent worldview. Postmodernism is mostly a reaction to the assumed certainty of objective or scientific methods of explaining reality, which is why they reject universal standards of beauty and of technique, and why they are highly skeptical of explanations which claim to be valid for all groups or all cultures, traditions, races, etc. They only believe in the relative truths of each individual person. You can create your own standards for morality, for beauty, for a sense of self, and that interpretation is all that matters. I encourage you to try this exercise because I found it very funny. I was reading about postmodernism and critical theory for this presentation, and I wanted to find a concise but clear and direct definition, just one. And nearly every definition that I read was pointlessly verbose. No one seemed to be able to put forth anything meaningful in fewer than 3 or so paragraphs. This, in and of itself, is a reflection of postmodernism. Nothing is certain, nothing is clear, there are no absolute truths, and things can mean whatever you want them to because you can create your own standards for truth and reality. Think for a moment that you reject the concept of absolute truth. You would have to entertain that no single act, including murder, rape, or pedophilia, is inherently immoral because the legal and social standards for punishment and shame are social constructs implemented by man. You would also have to concede that there is no universal concept of beauty, which would lead you to reject established standards for artistry. What a dangerous worldview. To think that there's no true beauty to create or to marvel at, no true evil to thwart or to punish, and no true good to defend or to praise. This line of thinking lends directly to a hedonistic, self-serving life where you are the ultimate king and nothing, God, man, or nature outranks you. Because of postmodern influence, art has gone from this to this. Music has gone from this to this. And movies and TV have gone from this to this. I wanted a fresh, more objective take on modern art, since I have already discussed how cultural Marxists destroyed art in a prior video, and I've linked that below. So I did a little research and went through this New York Times article, The Best Art of 2016. As expected, every racial, ethnic, and religious background is represented here. In typically postmodern fashion, perceived equality above meritocracy. Seriously, number 1, National Museum of African American History and Culture. Number 2 is a Black political activist. I'll link this below so you can check out some of his terrible artwork. Number 3 is The Art of the Quran. Number 4, Jerusalem, Every People Under Heaven. Number 5, Paint the Revolution, Mexican Modernism. And number 6, literally feminist trash art. And I won't bore you, so I'll skip to number 14, my personal favorite, which is an award-winning poem written by an Asian guy called New Nose. I can't resist reading this to you. No to racists, no to fascists, no to taxes funding racists and fascists. No mercy for rapists, no pity for bigots, no forgiveness for nativists, no to all those. No hope without rage, no rage without teeth, no separate peace, no easy feet. No to bounds by gender, no to clickbait as culture, no to news as truths, no to art as untruths. No anti-Semitic anything, no Islamophobic anything. No progress without others, no meaning without meaning. No means no, no means no. No means no, no means no. What is the best modern art? Anything that embodies the notion that all people, no matter their skill set, talents, abilities, race, gender, religion, whatever, are the same. Trash can be art. The Quran can be beautiful. Up can mean down. Yes can mean no. Unless no means no. And isn't this the heart of nihilism? The idea that nothing exists outside of your own reality. If nothing is inherently good or bad or right or wrong, then why believe in anything except for yourself and hedonism? Like art, basically every musical genre has been bastardized since postmodernism has permeated Western society. Classical music, which arguably has the most stringent set of standards, became dissident and unsettling, and increasingly abandoned the attempt to create moving works in favor of those that made a statement. Here's a piece you all know well. Beethoven used conventional key signatures and timing to create something emotional and moving, despite what would be deemed as constraints by postmodernists. His symphony was critically acclaimed at the time, and we all know it because it gives us a feeling and it awakens our senses. It moves us. Let's compare him to postmodernist composer John Cage, who is best known for his incorporation of unconventional instrumentation and the idea that environmental music is dictated by chance. He is most famous for his silent piece, I swear to God, entitled 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Yes, it is just silence for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. It is supposed to be a statement about how the concert hall made the real music, likely another nod to this postmodern nihilistic philosophy that nothing in the world has a real existence except for your own stupid interpretation. There has always been an element of counterculture and angst inherent to certain genres, most notably grunge and punk. But even in pop culture, there was always a spirit of revolution, like is present in most Beatles albums. The cultural trend towards hedonism and self-aggrandizement intensified after the 1950s and allowed music to devolve into mere displays of hypersexuality, self-indulgence, narcissism, and greed. Further, as the Smithsonian points out, since 1955, timbral variety has gone down. That means that songs are becoming more and more homogeneous. The study also found that pitch content has decreased, which means that the number of chords and different melodies has gone down. Musicians today seem to be less adventurous in moving from one chord or note to another, instead following the paths well trod by their predecessors and contemporaries. So music has decreased in technical quality and the subject matter has shifted to unprecedented levels of depravity. And we wonder why we have a fully indoctrinated nihilistic youth. And perhaps nowhere is it more obvious of our indoctrination into the cult of nihilism than in movies and in television. There's always a feminist or leftist agenda, whether or not they bother trying to obscure it. Even though it has been off the air for years now, I think the worst offender that has achieved the most long-term damage has got to be Sex and the City. The women in the show are in their mid-30s and early 40s, and despite the main character having an abortion, a shopping addiction, and a pack-a-day smoking habit under her belt, she still manages, in New York City, where women drastically outnumber men, to meet nice, handsome, wealthy, tall guys that fall in love with her and her glamorous lifestyle. I don't even need to tell you why this has given a false impression to young women. We also see nihilism in the spike of dystopian entertainment in recent years. Walking Dead and Mad Max, for example, show a bleak world where man is feral and there is no law but that which survival dictates. Black Mirror, on the other hand, shows a bleak future where we have given divine status to technology, which in turn is destroying humanity. But all portray life without mysticism. There's no higher moral standard to devote oneself to. So what prompted this overwhelming tide of nihilism that 2 world wars, countless famines, and horrific diseases could not? Yes, cultural Marxism and postmodernism are certainly responsible. But would this infection be so pervasive in the absence of the internet? Never before have we been exposed to so much information and to so much communication. It is a lot for the normalization of depravity. You used to be limited to what was in front of you, your imagination, and your memories, but now you can see anything that you want to. The endless possibilities available on the internet have pushed our limits and made us need more to be shocked, or really to feel anything at all. As so many have correctly pointed out, we are seemingly witnessing the end of our civilization. Black Pigeon Speaks has made a very good video about this recently, and I've linked that below. And sometimes, even often, I do feel very hopeless. But then, like I discussed in my last video, I see signs that people are getting sick of this. There is a huge trend towards conservatism in Generation Z. Pop stars seem to be scaling back their images to some degree, and more generally, people just seem fed up with oversaturated celebrity culture. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Is the shift in popular culture a sign that we're moving away from hedonism and nihilism as a society? Am I too hopeful or am I too pessimistic? Interested in hearing what you have to say. Thanks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.